Hey everyone, welcome to Nerds Talk. I'm Mike.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm James.
Today we're going to be going over our Nerds Talk review of the complete Star Wars Saga. And today we're going to be covering Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. And as always, we're going to be starting off with just a quick whether we liked or didn't like the movie, without any spoilers. Then we'll jump into a full movie synopsis. At some points, we'll stop and discuss any particular plot points that we like to, that we have interest, whether we like or dislike them. And then at the end, we'll give you our final review and then, of course, our ranking. So with that being said, before we get started, let me just let you know that today we are sponsored by Caza. They are a Canadian company that personalizes in custom vinyl creations. From our Caza to your Caza, their products are custom designed to meet your style and personality. Visit facebook.com/CazaMade. That's facebook.com/CAZAMADE. Whether you're looking for something unique for yourself or a gift for someone else, Caza has something for everyone. And they were gracious enough to provide us with these Star Wars mugs. So with that, I guess we'll start off with, did we like episode 2? Yes or no?
Let's start off with you.
No, me?
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I liked episode 2 better than I liked episode 1. Wasn't a huge fan of episode 1. There were definitely some good points to it, plot-wise, but episode 2 I found a lot better. Action, a lot more things happening, furthering the plot, obviously, the storyline, but overall impression, better. I liked it better.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was indifferent to it, to be honest. There's parts I liked about it. There's parts I definitely did not like about it. I like that young Anakin wasn't there anymore, and that we got the actual older Anakin, which would be more the plot furthering and showing where he's going and how he's developed over these years in between the movies. Didn't like the romantic part of the movie. That really bugged me.
Okay.
But I'll get into that more.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was my view on it.
I did like this movie. I enjoyed, again, as some of you may or may not know, one of the things that draws me to Star Wars is the Jedi, the Force, and all that stuff that connects that to the plot. So this had a lot more named Jedi characters. You got to see a lot more of the Council, which I loved. I love looking up the lore of that stuff. You got to see some new Force powers. You got to see some cool lightsaber fights. So yeah, for me it was definitely, I enjoyed it. I liked it.
Excellent. So I'll read over a quick synopsis of the movie. Guys, stop me at any time. We can talk about it. I'll try and go through this fairly good. So 10 years after the Trade Federation's invasion of Naboo, the Galactic Republic is threatened by the separatist movement organized by former Jedi Council, Jedi Master, actually, Count Dooku. Senator Padme comes to Coruscant to vote on a motion to create an army to assist the Jedi against this threat. She narrowly avoids an assassination attempt when she lands her ship, and she is so she has a decoy that actually perishes in it, but she was flying a starfighter with R2-D2 at that point.
So Corday dies.
Yes, yeah. So her assistant, I guess the main guard for her. So she did her job. Now it's time for you to do your job. You came here for an important vote. Padme tries to say that I shouldn't have come, but no, she's here for a reason, and it's important. So after that attempt, she is placed under the protection of Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi and his apprentice, who is now 19 years old, Anakin Skywalker. The two Jedi thwart a second attempt on her life and subdue the assassin. I'll get you Zam.
All right, so we kind of get an introduction to Anakin and Obi-Wan. We know 10 years have passed. They kind of have this back and forth in the elevator. You kind of get the sense that Anakin is itching to kind of be to graduate from Padawan to Jedi Knight.
Yeah. He keeps dreaming about Padme and his experience with her. And
he's constantly thinking about him, wanting to be near her. And they have this kind of fun brotherly bickering that kind of happens. Bickering is between them as they kind of go on this mission. You know, they meet Padme, and instantly you can see that he's kind of like, oh wow, she's beautiful. He's kind of like falling for her already. Obi-Wan's there under a specific mission, but right away, as they're there to protect her, Anakin's right off like, oh, they wouldn't send us here if we weren't here to find the killer. And you know, our job is not just to be a bodyguard. Our job
he
is to do this.
overcommits to try and show his commitment to
exactly.
her.
Yeah. So he also, I think, makes a comment to her that kind of makes her a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, you're beautiful as the chancellor.
As a senator.
As a senator,
So it's like, okay. And Obi-Wan right away sees through it and looks at him kind of like, okay, listen, buddy, like, we're Jedi. You're not supposed to be like that. Sees through that. But anyway, I just wanted to say that, you know, this kind of sets up the relationship between Obi-Wan and Anakin. And this whole chase sequence of them trying to catch this thief, as you mentioned, they catch the thief, the assassin. Kind of shows exactly how the relationship has grown, what they're like together. How is Obi-Wan now as a master versus a Padawan, and how is Anakin now as a trained, practically Jedi Knight? You know, how are they? What is their relationship together? And how
butting the heads, father son,
father son dynamic,
symbolism, absolutely.
You know, he's hot-headed. He doesn't sit down and think, where Obi-Wan is very more like sit back and see what our options are and that kind of thing, more calculated.
Obi-Wan is now that older, mature one,
Yep.
and Anakin is now that cocky, know-it-all teenager that Obi-Wan was in the first movie. Yeah,
and I think they even make a comment where Padme's sleeping in the room, and he's like, "Why are all the cameras off?" And he's like, "Oh, it was her idea." And he's like, "Oh, you're using her as bait." And he's like, "Oh, it's her idea. You know, she has R2 in there. He'll sense if anything happens." And so, like, you know, he's already like has his own little plans, like aside from what he's supposed to be doing. You know, assassins try to kill her. They both kind of sense the fact that she's about to die and instantly jump in, save her life. Obi-Wan goes crashing to the window. There's a crazy chase sequences where you see like Anakin grabbing a speeder and like saving his life, and then them bickering like, "Oh, why'd you do this? Why did you do this? You lost her. No, you lost her." That kind of stuff, you know.
Sorry, Master. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'll be right back. And,
I hate when he does
there's
that.
a Daredevil stuff. He's like, pull up, and he like nearly like crashes him just to kind of show like that's the kind of person he is. But I think it's important to show that, you know, there was an interaction between Zam Wazell and this other bounty hunter clad in blue, silver, and a little bit of purple, Jango Fett, because Jango Fett is the one who actually paid her to do the assassination in the chance that they got caught. And the whole chase sequence kind of showed not only action in the movie, but kind of showed the differences between each's way of dealing with the situation. Like when they finally when Anakin jumps off and lands on her ship and is kind of like fighting, loses his lightsaber, Obi-Wan catches it, right? Like they're completely different. Their heads up to completely different places. They finally get down to the ground, and then they're in the cantina. And again, he's like, "Okay, you go look for her. I'm gonna go get a drink." Yeah. And it was completely different. Like again,
he's like, "Just relax. She's in there for a reason."
Yeah, she's not running. She's hiding. Like
use your
head.
And
it's revealed that she's a shapeshifter. Like,
yeah. So it was a cool scene to show that the new alien species, shapeshifters and stuff like that, which is really cool. They question her, they catch her, they question her, and she gets killed
right before she can answer. Yeah.
So anyway, so you said so they capture them.
So after that, you know, she is killed by the bounty hunter before she can reveal his identity.
Yep.
The Jedi Council instructs Obi-Wan to find that bounty hunter, and then tasks Anakin to protect Padme and escort her back to Naboo, her native planet, where he expresses his romantic feelings for her.
Yes. Multiple times.
I'm gonna jump in here.
Okay.
He is a creepy teenager. The looks that he gives, it's like a rapist. I'm going to go there. He has that like look of, I'm going to do things to you that you do not want, and it's creepy. I just kept thinking the whole time, like, this is just the comments he makes. He's pushing himself on her. And it's just
the dialogue.
It was a really
choices
creepy feeling, and his face, like he had kind of like a dark face to it half the time.
Yeah, that was my immediate reaction. It was just creepy. It's like, okay, this is
Is it because again he grew up as like a child and he's a Jedi? He's been in solitude from this and like he doesn't know how to behave. But I'm not excusing it by all means. But I'm just like why would you go? Why would the creative direction be to go that route?
Yeah,
I don't know.
They could have gone a totally different way. Made it kind of.
They could have made some awkward moments.
Yeah.
Versus I want you. I like you. I'm gonna touch you. I'm gonna do this, and she's kind of like, and she gives him a few looks like, okay, like
don't look at me like that.
I'm uncomfortable. Yeah.
Like maybe give him the feeling of this is where he's gonna end up anyways. For like he's just gonna be dark and creepy and just that vibe.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's maybe where. Yeah, no, I have no idea. Maybe that's what he's trying to portray with that, but definitely
I just
could have
found it
gone a
very
very
weird.
different way.
Yeah, a lot of the dialogue choices, especially on this trip where they go off and he's carrying the luggage and stuff, I find that I don't know if George Lucas was trying to go with like a Shakespearean thing with some of the lines that he says, and like, I cannot breathe when I'm not with you, and all these like weird things. It just like a regular person would not say that to like a girl you like.
Poetic,
but not really being poetic.
No, exactly. Yeah.
So
tempting, but no.
Speaking of lines, the line I always think of, I hate sand.
Yeah, that's coming up.
I've heard that so many times in different memes.
Actually, no, he speaks to her. He says before he gets the tattoo, he talks to her about hating sand because they're in this planet and talking about how beautiful it is, whatever. And he's like, sand is coarse.
It's coarse against everything. It's like, oh man, that line is.
But not you. You're smooth and fine. And it's like, okay, shut up. Move
on. So then Obi-Wan's investigation leads him to the mysterious ocean planet of Kamino.
Yes.
Where he discovers an army of clones have been created on behalf of the Republic, with bounty hunter Jango Fett serving as their genetic template.
I'm just going to stop you there. Just before that, before he goes to Kamino, he's looking for the place because he hears that there's a planet.
Correct.
He goes to look the archives and it's not in the archives. And I think this is, again, another seed planted of like, there's something going on. The Jedi... Like the librarian or like historian, or like if it's not there, it doesn't exist.
Yeah,
like we have everything, and it's like no, like people are in here, they're tampering, there's stuff that's going on, and you guys are so blinded by like where the Jedi were up here that there's like stuff going on
inside their own
temple. That you don't even know, you don't even see. And I think that's like one of the first steps of like you guys are blind to what's going on.
Yeah,
and at the end of the movie, I think Yoda makes mention of that specifically. But go ahead. Oh yeah, they use the younglings to Yoda uses the younglings to find the missing planet, and the young child is like, maybe the record got deleted or something.
Someone came in and deleted it.
And Yoda's like, that's true. Yeah. That's the answer.
The young ones are the smart ones, pretty much.
Okay.
So Jango Fett serving as their genetic template. Obi-Wan deduces that Jango to be the bounty hunter that they're actually looking for.
Yep.
And after a fierce battle, which we'll get into, places a homing beacon onto Jango ship Slave One.
That's right.
So that battle. So what I did like about this movie was it started off with action.
Yep.
It had a lot more fighting and battle scenes throughout it, and it was quick, precise, action packed, very choreographed, and well done in that aspect. I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, it didn't mess around and got to the point where it needed to be.
Yeah, like it was even better action and choreograph than the first one.
I think so.
They took it to the next level and just.
And then they jump into a mystery. Like, oh, there's a mystery. Let's go see what's going on. I like that.
Yeah.
Change pace. Yeah. That was good.
Obi-Wan then follows Jango and his clone son Boba Fett to the rocky planet Geonosis. Meanwhile, Anakin is troubled by visions of his mother, in pain, and decides to head to Tatooine with Padme to save her. So throughout the movie as well, he has a lot of nightmares and dreams, and even at the beginning, Obi-Wan says, "You look tired." And he says, "I don't sleep as well as I used to." And Obi-Wan says, "Is it your mother in the dreams?" And he admits that it is. Mm-hmm. So he's constantly troubled by these nightmares. I don't know if he has already or if it's later on, but later he has nightmares that Padme dies, has nightmares that his mother's in pain, dying, all these nightmares, and
she's calling out
that
to
are
him.
Troubling him, and he's afraid due to these, which is kind of foreshadowing that's a way for people to go to the dark side.
Absolutely. So backing up to the fight between Jango and Obi-Wan, I think that the fight was well done, but I think it also kind of shows how deadly and dangerous a bounty hunter could be. No matter how strong a Jedi is, and Obi-Wan at this point is trained as a Jedi Knight, almost a Jedi Master, if not already a Jedi Master. He's not in the Council yet, but he's up there. And Jango Fett took him down a peg. He held his own, and I think that's one to show like not only is he a really amazing bounty hunter and a really good fighter, but he's a template for these clones that are essentially a copy of him. Yeah. So that's how great they are going to be, from personality, tenacity, fighting skills, all that kind of stuff, cunning. Yeah. Like they're a copy of this deadly assassin essentially,
and they take out all the bad parts of them. They don't have fear, they don't have
correct
remorse, so they take out all these different factors that could prevent someone,
make sure they follow orders, all this kind of stuff.
Exactly.
They set up a small thing about his son Boba Fett. It's a copy of him but not altered.
Correct.
Like he's still like a full
like a
person.
Exact. Yeah.
So I thought that was cool, and also he did radio back to the council saying, "Hey, like, so apparently a Jedi ordered this clone army, but I thought he died 10 years ago." And they're like, "Yeah, we weren't aware of this." So another seed of like, "Wow, we didn't know this happened. An order from the Jedi Council to construct clones we weren't aware of."
Yeah,
what's
it
going
wasn't
on.
approved by the council.
And then they said, "Okay, go get this guy. We want to question him," type thing.
Yeah.
All right.
So he goes back to Tatooine with Padme to save his mother. Watto reveals that he sold his mother to a moisture farmer, who then freed and married her. Clegg is his name, Clegg Lars.
Yep.
Clegg tells Anakin that she was abducted by Tusken Raiders weeks earlier and is likely dead. Determined to find her, Anakin ventures out and finds his mother at the Tusken campsite, where she dies in his arms.
Yeah.
Enraged,
And then he gets enraged.
So this is where his anger really takes hold,
yeah.
and he massacres the Tusken tribe, including
Shows a lack of control.
young
and discipline
the females, everything.
Yeah. It shows a lack of discipline that he should have as a Jedi, apprentice. That he should be focusing on that, but you can see that the fear and the rage definitely gets the better of him.
Mm-hmm.
Now I thought, does his eyes turn kind of red?
Not yet. No, I look for that specifically. His eyes are, I want to say they were a little darker but it could just be because he was in the cave and the lighting. But they weren't red or yellow like you normally see.
Yeah, I wasn't sure when his rage came out. I couldn't remember if his eyes
I was looking for
red.
that. Yeah,
that point.
Not yet, but they did focus on his eyes like he's angry kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think before this point, he already had a conversation with Padme about his feelings towards Obi-Wan, how he feels like he's
in many ways he's better than
him, and he's kind of being held back. He touches on that, and I think later on he goes full blown about that as well. But yeah, you can continue.
He later declares to Padme that he will find a way to prevent the deaths of his loved ones. On Geonosis, Obi-Wan discovers a separatist gathering led by Count Dooku, who Obi-Wan learns authorized Padme's assassination and is developing a droid army of his own with the Trade Federation, as well as some others.
Yep, there's the Geonosian head. You have the Techno something Union and a bunch of other people.
What I liked about this was when Dooku and his followers are all together, when they find out that the clones are coming, they show a picture of the Death Star. So it's kind of like a foreshadowing.
Yes,
and they're
the
like,
plans,
oh,
the plans that they've been developing. Yeah,
I didn't realize that when I first saw the movie, but when I rewatched it recently,
I didn't notice that either.
Oh my goodness, that's the Death Star.
I know that they talked about plans, but I don't remember actually seeing it glowing there, the actual Death Star picture. I don't know if that was added in or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's a Blu-ray extra.
But that's why I guess that they had this factory on Geonosis, and why they partnered with the Geonosians, because the plans were designed by them. Pago the Lesser gave it to him and said, "This is what we've come up with. This is the." Our people have come together, both the Tech Union and the Geonosians have come up with this idea, and here are the plans to present to your master, essentially.
Yeah, so I found that a little nice Easter egg.
Yeah.
Per se.
Speaking of Easter egg. Yeah, so during a lot of the political scenes to some point where you're talking about people and a bunch of different people are talking, one of the planets is a bunch of ETs as a nod to Steven Spielberg. So you can see a lot of the aliens from ET, 3 of them in a pod to represent that planet.
Because really Spielberg gave a little nod to Lucas.
Yes, there was a character dressed up as Yoda in ET in a Halloween costume running across the screen. And they were really, really good friends, so he decided to throw him in the prequels, which I thought was really, really cool. So Spielberg.
That's a little Easter eggs there.
Absolutely.
So Obi-Wan transmits his findings to the Jedi Council, who allow Senator Jar Jar Binks to propose a vote to grant emergency powers to Supreme Counselor Palpatine. The successful outcome allows the clone army to be utilized. Anakin and Padme go to Geonosis to rescue Obi-Wan, who was captured during his investigation.
That's right. And this was after a conversation between the Council and Palpatine, when they were talking about, like, he even talked to Anakin saying, like, I'm very interested to see what you're capable of, and this kind of some future foreshadowing. But he also talked about, sorry, what did you just read there?
Emergency powers.
Yes, emergency powers. He talked about, like, how we're going to use the clone army. He says the only way I can do that is if you grant me emergency powers. That's right. I can say we're doing this and we're doing it.
Well, he kind of made a comment. If only Padme was here and Jar Jar Binks was there.
That's right.
For someone to grant me
the powers. That's right. Not, wink, wink, nod, nod.
Yeah. And Jar Jar's like, oh.
Because Padme left and says, I'm giving you full control.
Correct. So, so he's smart enough to use the ear of not only Padme but now Jar Jar Binks, who's a weaker species and foolish.
Yep.
Are you talking? Okay, so since he brought it up, there are theories that Jar Jar Binks was an Emperor spy.
Yeah, there's a whole like Darth Jar Jar and all this stuff.
Yeah. So is that what you were going for?
Yeah, that's one of the things I'd go for. Yeah, there's a few different things. Yeah, but
any others that you want to bring up? We're talking about.
We're good with that.
All
We're good with that right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, people find.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there's one that he's a Jedi, right? Like,
there's so many different things.
I know. There's
So Anakin and Padme go to Geonosis to rescue Obi-Wan, but are captured by Jango. Dooku sentences the trio to death, but they are saved by the battalion of clones. So,
sorry. So
before that,
before we get to the arena, So go ahead.
So they are captured. Padme and Anakin are being ushered into this arena. They declare that they are truly in love with each other. They kiss.
No, they had kissed prior.
Yes.
And then he says, "I'm sorry, I'll never do that again," or whatever. And then she
Padme
pretty much
says, "I love you."
Yeah, we're about to die. They had a scene about them like living a lie and that they can't love each other and all this stuff. And then now they're like, "Well, we're dying anyway. Let's just declare our love and blah blah blah." And okay.
Yeah.
But before then, what was I gonna bring up there? Man, there was a big thing I was gonna talk about. I can't remember.
For the arena.
Yeah, I can't remember it now. Something that was setting up. Anyway,
so they're all caught and put into the arena with these beasts that are going to attack them. They all use different
Obi-Wan.
ways.
So when Obi-Wan gets captured and he's there in prison and Dooku comes in and they're having a confrontation, remember he doesn't know yet that he's evil because Dooku comes in and he says, "Oh my gosh, I didn't know this was happening. I was blinded." He's pretending to be the innocent guy and says, "I didn't know that they were building this factory.
I'm working on getting you released."
Yes. He says, "I'm working on that," and then he tries to get him like, "Join me. We can do this, this, and this." He's like, "I'll never join you." And then he's like, "Okay." Like he almost Obi-Wan senses, okay, something's wrong with this guy. I'm not going to join you. And he says, "It's a shame. It might take a while to get you released, blah, 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 blah." So he actually tries to get him to join him because he does tell the truth. We talked about this, about the dark side, the Jedi being blind, and the dark side has a strong control over the Senate and everything. And he's like, but together we can go and fight it and kill. He doesn't drop any names, but basically kill the evil that's there, and which is true, 100% true. And Obi-Wan's like, "No, I'm never going to join you," because he would have to essentially become part of the dark side to do it. 2 apprentices joining up to kill the master. That happens in books and stuff all the time. So I thought that was an interesting. I didn't pick up on that initially. As a kid, I always thought it was just, ha ha, we caught you, blah 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 blah, and Obi-Wan's like, "I'll never join you," but no, like this was like I'm trying to trick you, and no, it didn't work.
Yeah. There's even a comment about how Qui-Gon may have.
Yes, Qui-Gon would have joined me. Yeah, because he's the master. He trained Qui-Gon.
Correct.
So it's a great lineage there.
Yeah.
But so they get captured and then we take it out to the arena. Obi-Wan's already there.
Yeah.
Anakin and Padme get taken out to get chained up.
Yeah. They all find their own ways of escaping.
Yeah, they get the animals come out. The Reek, the Acklay, and the Naeksu come out. Have a nice battle there. Some interesting situations there.
Yeah.
Padme, I think, is the best outfit in the whole movie. Is that white outfit, hands down.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And then you said Mace Windu. You're gonna talk about that part.
Yeah. So eventually, Mace Windu comes with a whole bunch of other Jedis, and then they're all fighting the
party's
droid.
Yeah. The lightsaber to Jango's neck. This party's over.
So a big battle, and then eventually.
And all the Jedi show up, they're all in the stands, which I thought was so cool. You get to see, like, for me being like a really huge nerd, like knowing the names of a lot of these council members and being able to see them, and it's not like they're not just sitting there quietly in the corner. You get to see them fight. You get to see them. My favorite was Kit Fisto. He's always been one of my favorites, and actually seeing him there, like using the Force, and like this big blue bubble comes out and stuff. And in the TV show, he has some Force powers that are unique underwater, which I thought was really cool with that character. So
nice.
I love that you get to see like all these guys. They're not just up here, the grandfathers, we're trained, we're masters, we don't need to fight anymore. No, they get their hands dirty, they're in there. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Eventually they're outnumbered.
Yep.
They're all cornered into the middle, they're circled around.
Yeah, the droids come out along
Dooku
with the
offers them to all, surrender and join. They said that they're not going to be pawns to be negotiated with, essentially. And then all of a sudden, when
Yoda shows up.
Yoda comes with all the clone army.
Yes.
And they land, make a circle around them and protect them and land and then take them off.
Yep.
So at this point, they Dooku, there's a nice battle with Mace Windu and Jango.
Django jumps in,
Yeah.
start fighting. After knocking off and killing Ajit Paul, one of the Jedi Masters, he falls off and dies.
That's right.
They jump down. They have some battling. With the Reek kind of gets in the way. Kind of tramples Jango Fett. Jango Fett, one shot, takes him out, shoots him in the face.
But damage his pack.
Oh yeah, his jetpack was
couldn't-
gone.
okay.
And then Mace Windu just comes and just wrecks him.
Yeah, and Boba
beheads
Fett
him.
sees that, so we get to see how the fate of Jango ended. Not so well.
So he's got some issues.
Yeah. So they're all taken off after that, and
Jojo and the ships are like,
so
after
Dooku
them.
takes off because he sees that Mace has taken out his
Yeah.
pretty much bodyguard.
Yeah.
So he takes off with a couple of escorts.
So we have Padme, Anakin, Obi-Wan on one ship. We have Mace, Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and some other people on another ship. And so as they're going, they see all the giant ships, I guess. I don't even know what they are. Droid factories, wherever they are. Those big balls going up to space. And they're essentially going to be like
Correct.
the warships. So like, okay, so
Focus
they landed.
all
Some
on
guys, some Jedis all became essentially generals, taking their own battalions of their clones, to head off and like, we got to destroy these things. We got to stop them. And then so the only people that are left in the plane was Yoda was in his own plane. And then we had the trio, Anakin, Kenobi, and Padme on another plane, chasing Dooku.
Yeah.
Right?
So Dooku sends his two off. They shoot the ship, and Padme falls
Padme
out
falls
with
out.
the trooper.
Yeah.
Anakin
Flips out.
wants to stop the ship, wants to let Dooku go. And then Obi-Wan is like, what would
Stay
Padme
focused,
do?
yeah.
You gotta stay focused. And then he kind of refocuses that
What would
way.
she do? He's like, she
Her
would still
job.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine.
So he's like, fine, I'll
He's like,
do
I don't
it.
care. He even
He's
said,
like, I can't do it by myself. I can't take.
He's like, I can't take Dooku by myself. I need you. Blah, blah. And so Anakin's kind of like, oh, you need me? Okay. A little bit, stroking his ego there a little bit.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan and Anakin intercept Dooku, and the three engage in an epic lightsaber battle.
Now Anakin, being hot-headed, says, I'm going to take him by myself. He says, no. He runs off. Gets zapped.
Obi's like, oh, I'll do this.
Oh,
and you go,
man.
and he's like,
Gets
okay.
zapped, taken out immediately. You're gone. And I'm like, wow, that was cool. Again, showcasing Kate. Dooku is strong. He's not some pushover, even though he looks like an old man. No, he knows what he's doing. Yeah. Obi-Wan starts taking him, starts holding his own, stops the lightning, fights. Dooku is still, way better fighter than Obi-Wan, and cuts his arm, cuts his leg, knocks him out.
Yeah.
And so Anakin jumps in to save him as Dooku's about to do the death blow. Jumps in to save him. And then Obi-Wan's like, here, Anakin. And then, I love that part. This again, another saber fight. I was like, this is awesome. 2 sabers, which is my favorite style, was one in each hand. Just go into town and like just rage against Dooku. And Dooku was just like, no problem.
Yeah.
Takes up the saber. Then Anakin's going with 1 saber. And I thought it was
off his hand.
And then he eventually chops off his hand. He gets knocked out. They're down there. And then what happens when all hope is lost?
Yeah.
Who comes strolling in? Oh my gosh! In the theater,
green guy.
I still remember to this day. In the theater, man, people were like, "What?"
Yeah,
freaking out when Yoda just walks in with his little walking stick, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's just gonna like force push him or something." But then they go and they have a force fight.
Yes,
where he's like
around,
lightning. Yoda's doing something you never seen before. He's absorbing it. Deflecting it, and then in the last shot, he literally just absorbs it completely. And I'm like, that is awesome. In the video games, you've seen Force absorb, you've seen all of this stuff. I'm like, this is cool in the movies. Like, this is how powerful he is. He can do something that no one else can do. He's absorbing the lightning where everyone else has got to use their lightsabers. He's like, he's taking them on. And then he goes, okay, so it looks like, we
can't settle this with
our force powers.
Force.
Let's see our skills with lightsaber. So when you see that, and Yoda stands up straight, throws his cane down, everyone's like, no, is he going to do it? He pulls out his lightsaber, and everyone went nuts again in the theater.
He's going all over the place.
He's this little monkey just jumping around. Small lightsaber, shorter than the average, but
it's like a Padawan, like a youngling.
Yeah, but I'm like, but that's all he needs.
Yeah.
Like he's deadly. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's just flipping around. And Dooku is like taken aback.
Yeah.
To the point where he ends up having to like, okay, I'm gonna put Anakin and Obi-Wan in danger because he knows Yoda's gonna stop to help them just to get the heck out of there because he knew he was gonna lose.
Yeah.
And they had a dialogue where Yoda had mentioned something, my former Padawan. So we know that Yoda trained Dooku. Dooku trained Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon trained Obi-Wan. So you're gonna get the lineage there.
That's right.
So it's like, okay, so Yoda trained Dooku. That's why Dooku is as good as he is. A nice little kind of understanding on the hierarchy. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I like that part as well.
Loved the fight scene. Loved it.
So Dooku realized that he wasn't going to win this battle and decided to try and use force things to distract Yoda, and eventually holding something over the disabled Obi-Wan and Anakin.
Crushed him with like a pillar or something.
Yeah, so that took most of Yoda's
Obi-Wan just had to like
force.
drop the lightsaber and just go. Yeah.
Yeah. So that allows Dooku to escape. He flees to Coruscant, where he delivers blueprints for a super weapon that we saw was
We know it was the Death Star.
Death Star to his Sith master Darth Sidious.
Yep. So he goes to Coruscant.
Correct.
Yeah.
As the Jedi acknowledge the beginning of the Clone Wars, Anakin is fitted with a robotic hand and secretly marries Padme on Naboo.
Yep.
With C-3PO and R2-D2 as witnesses.
Yep. And then there was a comment of Yoda saying like, "Oh yeah, it was a success, whatever," and he's like, "No, it wasn't a success."
Yeah, because Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, we wouldn't have won this battle."
Yeah, he's like,
without
"We
the
didn't
clones."
win.
He's
Like, this is the
if
start.
You think this is win. Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't won anything. This
Begun
is
the
just
Clone Wars.
beginning.
Yeah. So yeah, so that was the movie. So I guess we're gonna start digging in now. At any point, you guys jump into any specific scenes you wanted to talk about?
So I found all the battle scenes quite entertaining
Mhm.
and the highlight of the movie. I didn't find the dialogue as bad in this one, but the storyline was good. Like I said before, the creepiest part was the love scenes for me, and Anakin expressing himself creepily. And that's pretty much it for me, though. But overall, I did enjoy it. I found it a much, more action packed, more to the point in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not as
Not
much
much
political.
fillers. Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot less Jar Jar Binks, which is a plus.
Yeah,
They
I
toned him
think
down quite a
I
bit.
think they got the
they realized-
response and
yeah.
said, "Okay, and he wasn't like making these stupid comments and being overly stupid." And they're
Yeah,
trying to
when
give
he was
him,
in there, it was for a purpose.
exactly,
Yeah.
and they're trying to give him more responsibilities and show that he's matured as well.
Mhm.
I think in this movie.
Love Jango Fett.
Okay.
I'm a big bounty hunter fan in general, I guess. But Jango Fett, Boba Fett. I was a fan of the movie. Yeah, again, I was a fan of the movie. Something I did. Oh, sorry, lost myself.
No problem.
I agree with you, actually. So yeah, so the romantic parts. So I'm not sure if it was intentionally acted that way or if it was just his ability of acting. But Hayden Christensen, just no expression. So I don't know if that was intentional, that there was no expression. Like there's always seemed to be the same expression on his face no matter what.
Yep.
Always the same tone, always the same. So I don't know if it was meant to be emotionless for the most part, other than anger.
The only thing I could ascertain from it was that he was struggling. He was a conflict. He
Mhm.
didn't know like how to react to his feelings, and because the Jedi are all about like no emotion, no feelings.
Yeah.
I
No
think
attachment.
it was supposed to portray his struggle on not like how to deal with the emotions that he's never been allowed to have.
Yeah.
And that with Padme and love and all this kind of crazy stuff. Not that that's good.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
was it bad acting? Potentially. Was
yeah,
it the
like, I
script?
don't know.
I definitely
And
think the lines were
yeah.
definitely a big part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Even his facial expressions were always like the same facial expressions that he had. There was no sort of
I agree.
It seemed to bother me a little bit.
I felt that it's funny. So I've always felt that in episode 2, Natalie Portman, way better actor than Christensen in 2, and then I felt in 3 it was switched. Where I thought Hayden Christensen did way better, and then Portman had this a couple of scenes where I was like, oh my god, like that's your acting.
Yeah,
So I thought it
there's
just
some-
flipped reversal completely when like
Absolutely.
what happened here. But no, in I was gonna say like let's kind of go in let's talk about plot, story progression. What did you think overall for this movie? Was it good? Was it not good?
I think it was a good story progression.
Getting the clones,
It
understanding where they
kinda-
came from, how the start of the empire, the emperor's forming. You got to see some early looks at Star Destroyers and different type of ships that later to become other things. What did you think of like from the beginning, the plot assassination to set up like the emperor's plan of because remember the emperor is the one who had Dooku to pay him,
Or
assassinate
Django.
him,
Yeah.
and then he specifically requested that Anakin go with her. Like he's trying to get him in a certain areas because he's obviously the schemer, this master.
Yeah,
strategist.
It's kind of showing his overall
His
plan,
overall plan and how it works,
He's
and
kinda
whispering in
making
people's
these
ears.
pawns, This pawn here,
seats,
this pawn
yeah.
here. Okay, I'm moving my pieces where I need
Yes.
to place them to set up for the next move, which I felt was quite interesting because scene by scene you can kind of see where he's trying to whisper in Anakin's ears. Oh, you can trust me.
Yep.
He's always been like,
They don't want you to, they're not telling you everything about
Yeah.
what you need to know. Like, and he's planting those seeds of,
Yeah. I see one part Palpatine says, or Anakin says, oh, Palpatine says, "Oh, your training is paying off, and your patience." He says, and then Anakin responds, "Oh, it's your tutelage as well as paying off more than anything."
Meaning that
they've always been kind of putting him under his arm as a tutor, trying to get him trained the way that he wants him to, and whispering in his ears and putting little pieces in it.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel there were any points in this movie from a plot perspective, not talking about dialogue, screenplay, anything like that, that didn't need to be there? Any scenes in particular that was like it wasn't necessary? I have one myself. I was thinking before I say it what it is. Do you guys have anything that
off
you
the top of my head
didn't need to be there at all? Like didn't help progress the story at all, and it didn't really do anything other than I think to sell a couple new toys, and I'll explain that when I get to that. But did you find there was anything that just wasn't necessary?
Not off the top of my head, but I'm sure as soon as you say it, I'll be like, oh yeah.
Okay, so for me it was the droid factory scene. When they're in there, the C-3PO switching the heads, to show off R2-D2's jets, the fact that he can hover and he can fly now. That was the only time that he's ever used it. Yeah. Because again, in Episode 3 he uses it as an attack. But it just shows that how did they get captured? That was literally the only point of it, is to show that Padme and Anakin went through this whole rigmarole. The Geonosians come out, but they're fighting in the droid factory, boom, 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 trying to survive, and they get captured. They could have just easily landed, came out, boom, 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 got surrounded and got captured. Yeah. But they, for whatever reason, decided they wanted to go through this long, arduous thing. It wasn't horrible, but I didn't feel like it made any difference to the plot other than they got captured. It didn't have to go into that specifics. That was my only thing. But everything else, even the long drawn out romantic scenes, that was there to showcase them they're having a connection. There's something growing there. They have some cheesy lines. I agree, but it's setting up the fact that they do have feelings, so that when they get to that point where they're in the arena and she's like, we're gonna die. I do love you. I do want to be with you. Blah blah blah. There's a reason for that. There was a build up. I think that's the only reason why he's riding on top of this. That was a bad CG moment for me. We haven't even got to CG yet, but that scene was just to show I'm showboating. What do most teenagers do, right? Yeah. Like a girl, do whatever you kind of do to try to impress them, and that's game, I guess, if you will, right? That's your plan. So I think that those scenes, while didn't have to be as many as they were, there was a purpose to them. I didn't feel the droid factory had a purpose. Yeah,
I would agree with that. It was, just to show that there's extra little features that you can buy and see. Mm-hmm. They didn't use it when you get.
His lightsaber got destroyed. Stairs, remember, it got smashed. He lost his lightsaber the second time in the movie. Yeah. Was what it was, but
yeah. Other than that, though, I don't think there's too much other filler.
So plot was good.
Yeah, I would say the plot was very good.
Okay, let's jump into CG.
So there's two that I can think of right away. When he's surfing like Fred Flintstone on
that animal.
And falls that was off so of it. That was embarrassing.
Yes,
to be honest, and probably actually didn't need to be in the movie.
No,
at all
it was just him trying to showboat.
Yeah,
that's literally what it was. And then he pretended to be hurt. He's like, "Oh, Anakin," and they just reason to grab her and roll.
A lot of those romantic scenes they could have shortened up, and
it could have been an awkward touch, reaching for some food or something, and a blood. You didn't have to get
montage of things that are just.
That's George Lucas's romantic vision, I guess.
Yeah. And then the other one was him in the Coliseum riding
the Reek. You think that looked bad? I didn't pay too much attention. I was so distracted by everything. I thought the Reek looked good. The accolade looked good. I thought the design looked well. I didn't pay attention to him riding on it. Well, the first time he was riding on that beast, you could tell that is fake. Oh yeah. But I didn't pay too much to his was it his face and stuff that just looked weird?
Yeah, just the way that they were, and even Padme sitting on it and trying to shoot and doing stuff.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, it was a little. It wasn't as bad as the surfing on.
No, that was the worst. I thought the other part that was bad was when they were doing the floating the apple, cutting the apple. You could tell he wasn't cutting anything. You could see the knife go through, and then and then she's like, "Got it." That looked like that was bad. They could have polished that up, or put the apple on a string. So she's at least there's some cute. It just didn't line up. The apple in her fork, it just didn't. So that was a weird CG thing for me. This one definitely had a little bit more oddities from that perspective.
Yeah, which is weird. They I don't know if the technology was a little bit better 3 years later, I guess. So they're just still trying to tweak and learn the new features. But there's definitely more that you could find in the second movie.
Yeah,
or maybe editing. I don't know.
Yeah, just the polish wasn't there. So I mean that's CG. Character development. Any new characters or existing characters development?
So I liked how they developed Obi-Wan. How he matured. Now he's a master.
Big difference from 1 to 2. But even when we're introduced to him and in the different scenes that he's in, you can see how he reacts his contrast Anakin. Yeah. And how he reacts in different situations. Yeah,
and it shows he's new to this as well, so he's kind of trying to figure out how to teach Anakin as best as he can.
But it has been 10 years, so it's like he's still also, while he's still finding himself as a master to Anakin, he's Jedi Knight. He's already almost a master himself from his skill level. So while he's learning, and Anakin's learning, it's a learning process for everyone, right? Yeah. But I thought it was well done. I thought it was good.
So
I liked his version of him.
That version.
Yep. Also, the father figure relationship with him, that he's trying to guide Anakin.
Yeah. There's even a comment.
Yeah.
You're going to be the death of me, Anakin. Don't say that, Master. You're the closest thing to a father I have.
And that's a very good line, because I like that. It's like, again, planting seeds, foreshadowing. It's great.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because in the third movie, we'll bring it up, but there's some lines.
There's some stuff
that way.
Which is great.
Yeah. So I think the plot that way, they were kind of, leaving little hints of how their relationship is. And like any father and son, there's always going to be like, oh, he's picking on me, but he's just trying to do the best for me kind of thing. But there's that clash, and young and immature and not knowing, thinking you know everything, but then really, the adult has gone through this already and knows more that way. So I thought that was good. Yeah. And then the other character that I really liked was Yoda, and seeing him actually in action. Like in 4, 5, 6, or really just 5 and 6 he was in. He's old, frail, at the end of his life. And then this one, in the first movie, he just sits down, Jedi Council, he's hovering.
Well, remember, the original episode 1, he was a puppet as well.
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6 was a puppet. It was 2 and 3 that he was CG, and then later when they released it, they took out Puppet Yoda and put CG Yoda in episode 1, but he was a puppet in episode 1. Yeah. Which is why he was mostly sitting down. He was a puppet.
So now they use him.
Even his floating chair and stuff. Like
yeah. So I liked seeing that he was actually like down in the ditch, like doing that dirty work, doing that kind of stuff.
And it was a nice surprise to like, oh man, this old guy can really move.
Yeah,
like, it was great. It was like no one expected because everyone remembers Yoda when this was out in theaters as the guy from episode 5 and 6, the old man, whatever. He has a cane, uses the Force. He doesn't have a lightsaber.
Yeah,
no one ever seen him with a lightsaber, and the fact that he pulls it up and wields it, I'm like, this is awesome. This is cool.
Yeah,
and again, different style.
Yeah. Everyone's
different. Like there's different lightsaber styles. That was cool. So yeah, I thought it was good.
And then seeing Jango Fett, I think
Jango Fett was great
as well. And seeing how he was able to get away from a Jedi Master,
the different tools, how he reacts and stuff like that. Yeah, I like
crafty.
I like the sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I like the development of Anakin as well. Just from where you saw him as a kid, and then 10 years later, and you can see those bursts of anger start to get to him, and you can see the progression.
The steps.
Exactly. That he's progressing into that, was all leading to, right?
Yep.
So I thought it wasn't too rushed either. Like I thought it was timed out well.
Yep.
Didn't feel rushed. Didn't feel like, oh, he went from being okay to, oh my gosh, now he's super evil. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think they did a good job.
And it planted the seeds of why he's kind of starting to go to the dark side.
Exactly. So it shows Palpatine whispering in his ear. Yeah. It shows that he has this fear of losing his mom, and just like all these different things.
Yeah. So I mean, that's like the first seed of like, again, and he lost someone in his anger dealing with that. There was like, I'm better than everyone, they're holding me back, and
lack of discipline, lack of control as well.
Yeah, which is what Yoda talked about in episode 1. He's too old. Conflict, all this stuff in here, and it's coming out, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was great. Padme, she's a bit of a fighter. She's a bit of a, you can see again. We're going to see with her offspring, how some of her personality traits kind of rub off into her kids. So I thought that was cool, kind of showing a little bit about her, not just being a politician, but like, again, willing to get her hands dirty, willing to get into conflict, wants to make a change no matter the cost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't care if I'll put my life on the line. I want to make this change. I don't believe in something. I'm going to go for it kind of thing. So that was cool, but.
And that battle outfit didn't help her.
Yeah.
It didn't hurt at all.
Not at all.
Index.
Yeah. Okay. So we went through CG, we went through character development, went through plot.
Bad guy.
Before we get to that, scripting. We agree again. Dialogue was just horrible. Worse in this one than the first one, I think.
Yeah.
Especially with Anakin and Padme scenes. There's just love scenes. Just even like the sand, like I kill everyone, and like the women and the children as well. And I was like, oh my gosh! Not only does this feel like bad acting, but like even the line choices, it could have like. You're angry and you're struggling and you're like, you want to express yourself. There could have been way better ways of writing that scene, and unfortunately it came out the way it did. But
I agree. The first episode 1 was better somehow script wise. I mean, it's not great, by any means, but it was better than episode 2
Yes.
in that aspect.
Okay. So before we get into to discuss the villains and rank the movie, let's just overall. Did you like the movie or didn't you like the movie? Now with more context.
Yeah, it was good. It was better than most sequels to a trilogy are.
Okay.
I find most trilogy, the sequel is just the filler. Sometimes it doesn't even matter in the story, and it's just like trying to get from the first movie to the second or third movie, but just showing little bits, but not giving away the end because they want to save all the good stuff for the third movie. This one was actually like, okay, you're getting a lot of details on what's going on, maybe because you already know 4, 5, 6 what kind of happens in it,
Yep.
so they weren't really trying to hold back as much for the third movie until the final transformation. But they were willing to give a lot more information and fill it with more important
relative stuff.
relative things
Absolutely.
than typical second movies.
Okay. You, James?
Yeah, I agree. I liked it better than the first. More action, more the plot seemed relevant.
Less. I mean, hardly any dogfights and like plane stuff.
Yeah.
I know that you like that stuff.
I know. Again, like I like a few things, but I don't necessarily need it.
Okay.
A lot more lightsaber battles.
There was a lot more of the Jedi stuff.
which I really liked as well. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm getting to see all the different Jedi Masters get in there. Well, again, that I really enjoyed that Coliseum scene. Actually, to be honest with you, I thought that was really cool to see everything unfold with all the CGI and everything like that. With the I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I liked it better.
Okay.
Definitely.
I really enjoyed this movie. Again, Star Wars Jedi, same reasons. Lots of Jedi, a lot of cool fight scenes and stuff like that. Force powers, like I said, some new and some old stuff. But at the same time, as powerful as the Jedi are, you do get to see that they are not Superman. They can die.
Yeah.
And we see that in some cases. And some deaths are kind of sillier than others. But, they are powerful. Yeah, they are strong. Yeah, they have this mystical force with them. But they are a person just like a bounty hunter can be super skilled, just like, anyone, right?
Yeah.
A soldier or whatever. So it's great to show that they are mortal. But they are powerful, and I really enjoyed that aspect. And again, throughout the movie, you see like how do the Jedi get out of this, how do they get out of that, and using their brains, using the Force. Anakin using the Force to throw the chain around the ring to ride him, and Obi-Wan using dodging this Force to get the thing to actually to break the chain, and him fighting without his lightsaber. His hands are cuffed and using the spear like attacking like it's not just about your weapon. While the weapon is like your main thing, you have your Force. You have so many tools at your disposal.
Yeah.
So that was cool. The politics, there was a lot more politics in this one. Never liked the politics part in it, but I think that in this movie, more so than the other ones, it was easier to kind of follow, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Understanding what's going on and how they're connected and why, who's voting for what. I feel like there's a couple other movies that it's worse, but it is what it is. But overall, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. More so, I think, than episode 1.
I think we all know.
So before we rank it, villains. So the main villain in this one, we're going to agree is Dooku.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Jango Fett was a villain, but he was also an assassin, a plot point.
Yeah.
I think the main villain in this one was Dooku.
Correct.
With his whole
And he got away.
He's the one who hired Jango Fett. He's the one who's been starting up, getting the plans. He's the one who fought. Got away.
He's a new apprentice.
Yes. So I think he's the main villain. So what do you think?
I didn't personally like him as much as Darth Maul. He wasn't as flashy.
Yes.
I mean, his skill level was obviously better.
Cool fighting style with
Yes.
the curved hilt and like the spinning and stuff. Like it was very a fencing style, which is very cool. But go ahead.
But I didn't find the flash. The lightsaber wasn't as. I'm a flash guy, right? I want the action. I want the cool flips, the cool moves, the new technology, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So he would be below Darth Maul in my books.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. A lot of similar points with you. I definitely enjoyed Darth Maul better. Had that evil sense to him. Like when you saw him, you knew that he was evil. Like you knew that he was dark side. But with Count Dooku again, with him trying to pretend with Obi-Wan that he's on his side, he's still good, and he's trying to get. You didn't have that same effect that you got. Yeah. So again, I liked Darth Maul better. But yeah, I thought Dooku was okay. Like,
do you think his motivations were present? Like, in the movie? Do you think it was realistic? Why he was a villain? Or again, just another master says do this, I'm doing it.
Yeah, I didn't really see him. It's pretty much just him doing what he was told.
I think the only scene where it shows him trying to carve his own path was when he tried to sway Obi-Wan and kind of like, let's work with me. We can
take this. Yeah,
like
I have other
told
plans.
the truth. Obi-Wan didn't believe it, but he's like, it's dark side. They got control. You meet together. We can fight. Blah blah blah. He has his own plan. So I kind of felt that he wasn't one-dimensional from that perspective. But that was the only scene where you really kind of see his own personal motivation, other than It
made me feel like he wasn't truly exactly like on
Emperor
the dark
says
side,
this,
because he
I'm
had
doing
that.
this.
Yeah.
Kind of gray, dark gray, in between the dark gray Jedi.
Yeah, you did get to see him use Force powers. Was Darth Maul, other than the Force push, was pretty much he was a fighter. He was trained much more as an assassin, right? And Dooku was a Jedi. He was trained under Yoda. He knows the lightsaber, but he was also Force sensitive, and you can see him using lightning. You see him using the Force to throw things at people. So it was a different battle.
Mm-hmm.
And again, his style is not that that fierce as like Darth Maul's. It's you have Terrace Cassie style that Darth Maul has, and Dooku's is different. So I thought he was good. I thought he was good as a villain. I agree with you. Darth Maul, if I had to pick, like, here are your two villains which you want to go with, Maul is definitely a lot more menacing, a lot more. Definitely felt like he has a chance to kick your butt. And then when he came up against Obi-Wan and Anakin, I was like, okay, this guy's pretty strong. But I didn't feel that by looking at him. I didn't feel at any way that this guy was going to own these guys.
Yeah,
like,
he didn't have that presence.
That. No,
just like
he didn't have the presence. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So I think Darth Maul definitely was the better villain over Dooku, for sure.
I would have loved to see Darth Maul continue on to the second movie in place of Dooku, and kind of, even kind of bring that, join me and we can take over this, my master, but have him continue on and maybe change his role a little bit, more dialogue. Yeah. Get deeper into him.
And again, 10 years would have passed as well, right? So there could have been that dimension where things could have sunk in, or you can see
exactly.
Perspective.
Train more, he knows more. Yeah. Stronger with the Force, of the dark side, the Sith. So I would have liked that to carry on, but they went a different route, and it was still decent. But out of the two, I would pick Maul.
Okay. Yeah. So is there any other points you want to discuss before you decide to rank the movie as a whole? Any scenes you liked, disliked? Anything you really hated or liked? Anything that was introduced?
This
is your point. Tell everyone your opinion on whatever.
As an actor, I don't know how they like pretending to do lightning. I would just feel so awkward doing that. I was watching closely, and they look a little awkward trying to do it, and then they match it up with
Dooku especially, like compared to Palpatine, Dooku's a little bit more like I don't know what it's supposed to look like. It's very straight, whereas like there's no I don't know, just it's very stiff.
Very straight, stiff arms.
So it's almost like a laser beam. Yeah, like he's gonna cast he's a robot doing a laser beam versus Darth Sidious.
So I found that a little humorous and awkward, but that was the only other point I wanted to bring up. The struggle as an actor, and all this technology is new to them as well. So they're trying to figure out, my director told me to do this. How do I get it actually to be shown, kind of thing, and trying to struggle that way for actors.
Okay. So now we come across, and we're gonna rank the movies. So episode 2, was it better than episode 1?
I'm going to say yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
More action. The plot was good. You got to kind of see it further along. You got a lot of information. You got to see the characters I found were developed better, and you got to know more about them and get deeper into them and their relationships. So that's why I enjoyed the second one more.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. A lot less filler, more to the point, relevant stuff. It's getting you to where you need to be for the next one, right? Sets you up nicely for the next one.
Absolutely. I thought the weakest part was the dialogue in this one. By all means, I think episode 1 had better dialogue than episode 2. A lot of the lines again between Anakin and Padme, a lot of the scenes were just canned. Didn't like just the setup and the choices that they used, but it was what it was. Again, is it bad acting? Is it dialogue? Is it a bit of both? It just that was the horrible part of the movie for me. But with that being said, again, I come here to see Star Wars. I come here to see Jedis and Force, and I got plenty of that. Got that in spades from different characters, from different perspectives, from a war perspective, from a crazy 10-on-1 battles and 1-on-1, 2-on-1, all these cool effects and stuff like that. So I love that. Got to see dual wielding Anakin. Yoda got to come out, surprise everyone. So I loved it. Loved the fight scene in this. Overall, I'm not saying that the Dooku's fight, he was a better fighter than Maul, but I just like the the surprises, you know, how quick he was able to kill this guy using force powers and sabers and a new style, and like just how he's able to beat and then get beaten by Yoda. Great all around. So yeah, for me, this definitely was better than
episode 1. Episode 1, it was mostly droid versus lightsaber. So they're just deflecting droid.
Which was CG, right? Swing this, and then you show the droids miraculously getting destroyed.
Lightsaber versus lightsaber, or like bigger droids and
more choreography.
A lot more.
Yeah, at least for that initial fight scene.
Yeah. There's one thing that actually I forgot to mention. The whole asteroid scene.
Yes, Obi-Wan and Django, yeah.
And the fact that how much Obi-Wan hates to fly.
Yeah.
I love the fact
he mentions that.
I know. Hates to fly, and that. Because I thought that was a whole nice little chase scene where, you know, weaving in between the asteroids.
How to outsmart someone who's clearly like superior, Django Fett, and seeing those seismic charges was phenomenal effects. Again, George Lucas, every movie has to have that explosion or implosion depending on the movie, but it's great.
Yeah.
Like the sound effects, everything, it just was like, wow, that was cool. So you had in episode 1, it was the Trade Federation blowing up. Yeah. This one, it's the seismic charges because there was no big bad space thing, right? There wasn't.
Yeah.
So that you had that, and then in the other movies you have other stuff. But I'm like, that was pretty cool. I thought it was really interesting how they went that route. But yeah, for sure. Okay, so I don't think we need to, but I mean, show of hands. Episode 2 is number 1.
Yeah.
All right, and episode 1 is number 2.
Episode 2 and episode 1.
All right, so we have the official ranking by Nerds Talk here. We have Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones at number 1, and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace at number 2. So what did you think, ladies and gentlemen? Did you agree with us or did you disagree? Please leave a comment below. We'd love to read and discuss with you and hear your thoughts on episode 2.
Know your rankings. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. When we're all done, you can share your rankings. Give us a thumbs up or thumbs down if you agree or disagree with us. Please support us. You can subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below, or shoot us an email if there are other movies once we get through the saga that you'd like us to cover. By all means, shoot us an email at nerdstalkinfo@gmail.com. And with that, as always, folks, stay nerdy.